that.
Okay, like a Sudafed type thing.
Yeah, the weather change has just been crazy. And I actually had like the week last week, we had the flu in this household. And right before the flu happened, I had a really bad UTI. Like they thought I had kidney stones, or a kidney
Mm.
stone. And I had to go to the urgency care, and then I had to go through this and that. And then they had to do CAT scan, and they're like, no, it's not a stone. It's just a really bad infection. And then, so that's been fun. So a lot
Yeah,
of
I know that
medical
you were
shit.
going. Yeah, I know that you've been going through that for a long time.
Yeah, it's just it's never been this bad. I thought it was like a normal run-of-the-mill UTI or the thing that has like UTI symptoms but isn't an official one that clears up in a day or so but gives me the symptoms. And I thought it was just that. So I was taking Azo, and then after 2 days you're not supposed to take Azo anymore, because it could be a sign of greater infection. And so after 2 days I still had it, and I um did I freeze? I froze. Mm, I'm back.
I'm back.
It was weird.
Did something happen to you as well?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
you froze, and usually when you froze, it means I'm frozen, and eventually we come back, and both of us are like, "You were frozen," so I just assumed.
that something happened on the computer. The whole thing went black, and then I think it was me also.
Oh, that's
Everything,
weird.
yeah, everything went black, and then it was like resetting, the Bluetooth reset, and then it just came back, and here we are.
Our devices are possessed today, I swear.
Yeah, man.
But
Um,
yeah, it was we've just been having a lot of health funk the past couple weeks, and then like the week before last was incredibly stressful at work. Because it was like a cram of finding out everything that um got neglected the past year, and it all just kind of fell at once, and it was really stressful, and I was really upset about it. And I think I needed that to happen because it was kind of like a reality check, because I was like, wow, I did not really have my head in the game in a lot of areas. Not just in work, but like outside of work. I recognize, like thinking back, I'm like, some of that is kind of like hazy. And and it's like, okay, that happened. We can't go back and unhaze it. But like
mhm.
now I can see the fact that there was haze means that maybe I'm on a better track to make it clear. And so it kind of like woke me up a little bit enough to like really buckle down and kind of clear things out. And the week that was playing catch up was so stressful, but it was also very intense to like splashing my face with cold water. Like I hated it, but I needed it to wake up a little bit and then
Mm,
stay a little bit more vigilant, going after, so that I don't end up in that space again. Because now when I feel myself kind of starting to slip, that'll be like, I don't want future me to go through what this is. And that's something that kind of like we've gone through before, we've gone over before, where it's like doing kind things for our future selves. But I think it's been so long that I've had this monumental of a thing feel like that, where it's like everything at once, it's like all showing me at once. Oh, did I lose you again?
all right. No, I'm here. I'm just like my video is having problems. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Continue. I was like, also, I started the stream. I don't know if I told you that.
Nope. But I did see it said that it was being live streamed.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening, but continue, please.
Yeah, I was just saying that it was kind of like a good reminder for me to try to stay more intent on things and keeping them up, so that um I'm not really making myself suffer in the future,
Mm,
because I feel like I really, for that one crunch week, I really actively felt like I was suffering. And the only thing that got me through it was that I was making up for the stuff that wasn't achieved prior. And if I get this caught up, then I can stay on top of it a little bit better. And then I don't have to make future me suffer like I am right now. um,
Hmm.
which is kind of like intense, but in the moment, it really did feel like that intense. Um,
Wow.
and of course, the health stuff that was creeping in that I didn't know about yet until it came to full force at the end, that did not help things. But I'm coming out of it. I'm coming out of the funk. I'm feeling better because I had to get everything caught up in that week. I was really frustrated and stressed out by the deadline. But because
Hmm.
I had that deadline and forced myself to do it, I was able to come in the next week, and it was a longer weekend, which was good because we had Martin Luther King Day off. I was able to come in a little bit fresher, and as a result, I've kind of been doing more like around the house and in general for my body because I registered like with the infection and with the flu, I felt um like I really was doing a disservice to my body and my surroundings and just my mental health to where it's like I was doing these small steps where I could, but with the weight of everything else that was going on, I was still kind of overstimulating myself and not balancing it well enough. And I didn't realize just how much I wasn't balancing well enough until, you know, the end of the balance completely just shifted. So, it's kind of been refreshing, to have gotten through the worst of it and feel like, okay, now we can work our way back into maintenance.
How
Now
did
we can
you
do the small steps.
how did you know that you had gotten through the worst of it? And like what were the triggers throughout the way where you're like, oh, I'm in this right now and I'm aware of it?
Um, well, there were tears, which since I've been medicated, I haven't been having as many breakdowns as I used to.
Hmm.
Um, and so the fact that I was still compelled to actually cry, like I had to actually take a second. I had to, because I just gotten off of a meeting and I felt my heart palpitations. I felt my face getting hot. I turned my face fan on higher setting. I had to throw my headphones off and just sit here and just like breathe and cry. And I literally just sat here and let myself cry for a while. And I know that my person was in the other room sick with the flu at that moment. And I was kind of hoping that they didn't hear because I didn't want them to come in and be like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Because sometimes I need that. But in this very moment, I just needed to sit and accept and almost appreciate the fact that this was a long time coming. And in that moment, it's like, this is the worst. This is the lowest. My body is trying to tell me right now, I have been doing the least and the most at the same time, and it's not working. They're pushing against each other. And so, I've been doing myself a disservice, and my body's trying to tell me this. And this feels impossible. And how the hell am I going to get through this?
How do
But
you
I'm
think you
just,
got into, how do you think you got there?
um,
Like you noticed, like were there multiple triggers? I
um,
relate, by the way, 100%. Like the what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, I that is exactly what's happening to me also.
yeah. I think, I mean, the meeting was a big trigger because it was like I was being shown everything else and this is just like one of those things where, um, one thing triggers you. So like, but it shows you the back end. So work triggered me. But when I was sitting here realizing all the stuff that I overlooked, all the stuff that I completely forgot existed, all the stuff that blah, 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 all these things at work that are just work things that are stressful. And it's like, yeah, work stressful. But I had to sit and think, how and why did it get like this? How did my mind let all of these things slip when it normally wouldn't? And I mean, how did it get this bad? And that's when I had to kind of like, because in the moment, I'm like, I don't know how this happened. For a split second, I'm like, I am the worst employee in the world, or I'm the worst, or whatever. Just seeing it in black and white, everything that I failed at. And that's what it felt. It felt like a failure. And I felt like that for a moment. And I think I kind of had to feel like that for a moment because then I was able to, when the meeting was over, and I was so overwhelmed by feeling like that that I could not do anything. I had to shut down. And in that shutting down, I let myself breathe. I let myself cry. I let myself feel shitty. And then I was like, okay, so this feels hopeless. How did I get here? And is it going to be better if I get through it? Which sounds like out of my mouth. It doesn't sound like it sounds corny or cheesy, but like, or not corny or cheesy, but it sounds like the kind of thing that would be slapped on a sticker. But like in my soul, I felt it. I was like, I don't want to feel like this again anytime soon. um, this fucking sucks. And so I was like, if I can just get through this, it's kind of like bargaining with God. If I can get through this and push myself and commit to being miserable for this specific period of time so that I can kind of crank through everything that I've slacked on, then I can breathe easily and feel more confident that going forward, I don't want to be here again. And then I was also able to start thinking about what things have I been doing outside of work that might have contributed to this. So I was like, I have not been eating well. Like I've been in the mode where I was just eating what I could, what I had on hand, but I wasn't going out of my way to have the right things on hand because I felt like I couldn't be bothered. It felt like it was too much. And it's like, how's my environment looking? It's absolutely the pits right now in this
Mhm.
office because we had to find a bunch of stuff and destroyed the place looking for it, and I didn't put it back together. And even when I was in the moment, I was like, if I get through this shit, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that spot in particular right there that I'm looking at that is heightening. Like when you hyperfixate on something, I'm like, I
Yeah.
want that thing in front of my eyes to be cleared up, and that will help. And it's like that spot isn't the cause of all my problems, but it was one thing I could focus on, one small change that I could make
It
that
was
I,
something keeping that energy there for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it was like I could pin it to that and say, okay, I'm directing my focus of my frustration to that right there. So it's going to stay there for a moment and I'm going to get through this and then I'm going to take care of that thing. And then obviously once you take care of that thing, you know it's not the real root, but it is something that can start the momentum. And it got
Hmm.
to the point where I actually started feeling almost excited, isn't the right word, but like almost excited or anticipating doing that because cleaning that up felt like way more fun than dealing with the funk that I was in. And I knew that I was going to feel better afterwards. And so that's what I did. I was like, if I get through this really, really shitty funk, then I can do this less shitty funk and then feel way better afterwards. It's
Yeah.
like the opposite of the snowball effect. Instead of doing the easiest thing and working to the harder, I started with the hardest thing and knew that I'd have something easier to go to when
Yeah.
I was just done with it all. And it's so weird, but like I kind of have been taking that energy and doing things. And also I've been drinking more water, which is a thing that everybody says to do. And then I was guilting myself because I was having such a hard time. I'm like, I don't drink soda, except maybe a sip
Yeah.
when my person gets a drink. I don't drink like sugar or milk or anything in my coffee or tea. I haven't even drank coffee or tea much lately because they told me not to with the infection. And so I was like, all I drink is water. Why does it seem like I'm not drinking that much water if this thing, like they told me for the infection, I needed to drink like two and a half of these a day because this is like 40 ounces.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is so hard to get through. Why is this so hard to get through when I only ever drink water? And so then eventually I got through, the stretch of needing to drink that much water. And I looked it up and it's like, I don't need to be drinking as much water as everybody says that I do because I am small and not as active. So while I had the
Mm.
infection, that was important, but also based on my actual like size and mostly sedentary lifestyle. I only need to
Sedentary.
be drink or set, yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
only
that's
need to
right. It's
be
just
I only
funny.
need to be drinking like 60 some odd ounces a day. This is 40. So one and a half is
Yeah.
only slightly more than what I normally was. And that was enough for me to be like, I don't have to feel shitty about not drinking enough water. Everybody in my work chat that's telling me to, or that's saying, oh, I need to drink a liter a day, or I need to drink a 2 liter a day, or whatever, or I need to drink three Stanleys or whatever. And I'm always like, how do they do that? And it's like,
The
well,
water industry, man. I
they're
was
bigger
thinking
than
about this
me and they
yesterday.
work out some of them.
Well, that also in like the water industry, water bottled water industry, um encourages us to drink to just like that we're gonna die if and that's good if we are not drinking enough water and like people can go a long time without water and still be healthy. But
Mm.
here it's made to seem like an emergency if you don't drink a certain amount per day, and I just don't think that's true. Like if I'm
Yeah,
thirsty, then I'm gonna drink, of course, and I am mindful of how much I drink, especially if I'm going through something. I know I need more water to flush my system. And
yes.
water is a tool just like everything else. It's not like, I mean, you can take a bath and get hydrated and you don't need to drink anything.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like it was making me feel like almost sick to my stomach and bloated. And I'm like, this can't be right. Like I'm forcing myself to drink so much that I feel worse. How is that a thing? And I had to do more looking into it. And I'm like, that is a thing. And I'm forcing myself to drink so much that it makes me feel worse. So after I got through my infection and I got done forcing myself to flush all that stuff out, I was like, I am just gonna try to remember to drink more than I do because it's the same thing as when I don't go to the bathroom as often as I need to because I'm sucked into something. So it's just like instead of forcing myself to drink, I'm like when I would normally force myself to drink, I'll be like, is this water going to make my belly feel weird? Or do I think I could actually like enjoy this? And it's just a matter of reminding myself to do the bodily function, like going to the bathroom and not holding it for
Yeah.
a little bit longer. That got me into the problem in the first place. Um, but but yeah, because that's usually why I get them, I think. It's because I have a tendency to do that. Same thing as when
Yeah.
you wait too long to eat and then you have a hard time eating. Um, but
I
yeah,
have
and
a
I also
system for that. Like I try to make sure I take at least one of these. Two is better, and three if I'm going through something.
mm,
For a while
mhm.
there, I was doing like 2.5 to three per day, but also I'm pretty active
Yeah,
and I'm like over 200 pounds.
yeah,
So like, yeah, I need water.
yeah. And
And if
also
I don't do
food.
that, I definitely have cut their consequences for sure. And also the type of water, because like we've talked about here in this apartment that we think the water is um
Mm,
demineralized too much. That's what I think anyway. So I started adding water minerals to the water here just in case so that I can actually absorb
mhm.
the water. And I've been going to the bathhouse a lot, just taking long baths, and that's helping me hydrate. So
Yeah, we have
water is
kind of like
good.
hard water in the area. And so we have a filter for the house, but my person suggested that maybe it's not as strong as it should be because it's not the same as what we had before the house fire. They kind of cheaped out on a lot of stuff. And so when I
Mhm.
was starting to feel worse with the water and having a hard time, they were like, maybe it's because of the harshness of the water. Maybe we should look into that and see if that's a thing.
Mhm.
Which is real. So I think I have the opposite thing. Um, but it's also like so I've been trying to be mindful of that and then also like I'm really proud of like food lately. Like this past week or so, we went to the store and got fresh ingredients, and I had myself like salad a few days this week for lunch. I normally like if I eat lunch, I'll grab like a frozen burrito or something. But I actually we had this stuff in the fridge because he wanted to make veggie rolls. Um, and because he found these seaweed wraps and we always have rice on hand. And so we had stuff left over from that was gonna go bad. And so I just grabbed a thing of baby spinach and romaine and an 89-cent can of chickpeas because I saw a thing about air frying chickpeas. Um, I thought they would make good chips to snack on. Not
No,
really.
I tried that too. You can smash them
Hmm.
and then season them and air fry them or bake them, and they can be pretty good, but I usually put them into salad as a crouton.
Yeah, I couldn't get them the right texture for chips, but they actually were great as a salad topping and extra like protein and stuff. So I threw that on the salad with baby spinach, romaine, and some radishes, and some other stuff. And my favorite part is I didn't have to use salad dressing because we had a little leftover cup of pico de gallo in the fridge from like a Mexican order out we did. Um, and I was able to use that on the salad and it was basically like dressing. So I didn't have to add like extra stuff like that. Which is good because I don't even know if our dressing is any good anymore because we haven't used it in
Mhm.
so long. But I was just able to, and then that also because I didn't want to chop up onions and stuff, that gave me onion, cilantro, and tomato in the salad as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, that's such a good hack, man.
I know, pico de gallo in your salad.
Wow.
Who'd have thought?
I
And
love that.
the juices from it kept it from being dry. So.
Mhm.
I loved it. Very flavorful from the pico alone, and the seasonings from the chickpeas as well. So yeah, that was nice. I had that a couple days this week, and I also had a big bag of apples. I made sure to have one for breakfast each day because it was just convenient. Um, and then for dinner, we actually made dinner, and then had leftovers of said dinner and tried to incorporate some of those veggies into things. And they were simple meals, not like full Pinterest meals, but like I got to the point where I was so used to having them that when we were out of veggies before this big snowmageddon happened and we couldn't get Walmart or anything, our only option was getting like pizza that was right around the corner because that was the only thing that was safe enough to go to and that was open. And I was like, I really don't want pizza right
Mhm.
now. This is gross. But like we didn't have anything else that would have been, except for ramen, which I also really didn't want.
Mhm.
And I was like, at least if we get the pizza, I can have leftovers because I normally will milk some pizza leftovers forever. But I'm
I
like,
love that.
yeah, I was just like, I really don't want pizza. But,
Mhm. But
so,
here we
but I
are.
feel like it was a moment where I'm like, so this is a sign that doing this for a while does put things to where I get used to it. And it reminds me of like how salt was a huge part of my diet growing up. And now I go less salt to no salt on things when I
Hmm.
can. Used to not be able to eat stuff without salt, and now I prefer it. So I can enjoy like cucumbers, for example. I grew up salted
Hmm.
cucumbers. Cucumbers are perfect. They don't need salt. It dries up the best part of the cucumber, which is the crisp water of it. Like, I don't know. I love how crisp and watery a cucumber is. That's something I appreciate now as a grown up that I didn't recognize as much as a kid. Because that's how my grandma grew up eating them. And my mother wouldn't eat any of her veggies if they weren't salted. So my grandma just always did it. So, but it's that same kind of thing where we just gradually make changes in our diet and then it affects us. Like I don't like white bread. I just because we've been eating wheat bread for so long. And I infected my mother with the bug. She doesn't eat white bread anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just a simple thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, like one switch at a time, and like it just integrates. And then
yeah.
over time, you have a whole new fridge, and you're like, oh, I guess I eat like this now. And
Yeah,
then you have to
exactly.
update, and then there's movement from there too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get sick of stuff, so I have like a couple of different like directions I go to when I'm like thinking about food because I'm like, you know what, I ate a lot of overnight oats last breakfast is gonna change. And then I know
Mm-hmm.
what to keep in the house, which I usually already have that stuff in the house anyway. And then
Yeah.
all the things I have in the house I can use to just make literally anything.
Yeah,
About the staples, man. Switching out
exactly.
staples.
Yeah. We uh we have a couple staples that we usually use that aren't like we usually have Kraft mac and cheese. Um and that one's not as good, but then we also have rice, which we always keep either basmati or jasmine. We'll just get a big bag of one and then when that runs out, we'll alternate to the other.
Mhm.
And we love putting rice in literally anything. It's great. And we even made like a poor man's chicken curry where we had some canned chicken and we had curry powder and we didn't actually make a thick curry sauce. We literally just stir fried chicken with leftover bell peppers and onions, some fresh garlic, and it was the canned chicken, and we shredded that and added curry powder and a bunch of other stuff with the fresh garlic, cilantro, and bell peppers and onions.
Yeah.
And then we cooked the rice with its own cilantro and I have the trilogy mix that has like chia seeds, flax seeds, and hemp seeds. And I You can get a big box of that for, or a big container of that for like $8, and I put it in like everything. That's one thing that I've had in my staples
Oh, that
forever.
is such a good hack.
Dude, I've had that since after the fire when we were moving to all those places and like when we first met. And
Mhm.
I got it so that I could make like breakfast smoothies and stuff that was healthy. Um, and that's when I first got that. And because I was just trying to get one of those and I couldn't find a package just one of those that wasn't like a small amount for a lot of money. And I saw
Mhm.
that and I'm like, I'll just get all three of them. They
I didn't
can't.
know that existed. Yeah, I would definitely get that.
Yeah, we have them at Walmart for like 7.98, or at least it was the last time I bought them. They probably went up, but anyway. It lasts me a while. It's like a tablespoon is a serving, but we just eyeball it, and sometimes we'll put more or less, but I always put it in the rice. And we also like to put a little
Such a
bit of
good
curry
idea too.
powder in the rice. And then it turns the rice yellow, and the flavor is brought out with the curry flavored food. We do the same thing with chili sometimes. We'll put it in the rice. I also just like colored food.
I like
So
colored food too.
yeah, even if it's not enough to change the flavor, I still just like having yellow rice.
Paprika is good for that.
Oh yeah, I
Paprika
bet it
is a
does turn it
spicy good.
red.
Yeah. It's very
Turmeric
mild
too.
spice. Yep.
Yeah.
Tastes like much.
hmm
Well, sounds fantastic, honestly. It sounds like you have been like very conscious and aware of what your needs are and like what's going on real time and like what happened and what's happening and how you want it to happen in the future.
hmm
And then you're making choices as you move through time that direct you towards being a healthier person and not suffering.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see what this leads to, how long the momentum is kept, and what it's going to look like
Mhm.
in, you know,
Yeah.
whatever stretch of period of time, just to be like, I started this at this time. Um, Another thing is, my doctor, I haven't tried this yet. I'm a little nervous, but I had a psych appointment during all of this, and
Oh, you did.
she doubled my Ritalin dose.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
because of how much I didn't realize that I was struggling with work. And if when
Mhm.
we talked, it was supposed to be like, because I have like a 10 like extended release, and then I have like a 5 milligram of just like immediate thing that I use halfway through the day, just for the last few hours of the day. Um, and she was supposed to give me just like another five of the extended release to take in the morning. Well, I got it delivered and it's a 20 milligram extended release, and it's a capsule, so I can't cut it. Um, so I don't know if, because she's been trying to up my dose for a while. She's been saying that, because I always say the same thing, apparently, that like I think it's just been a really rough week and I think I just need to this, that, or the other. And she's like, Scarlett, I've been seeing you for years and you say this every time. Let's just up the dose. You are taking a tiny amount. You can afford it. If you have any issues, we'll change it, but just try it.
And
And
also,
so,
say you take two and you you can open a capsule for some out. It won't be exact measurement, but you could do that if you really needed, if it was an emergency and you were like, I
hmm,
need this, but I want less. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah. That's also something sketchy I would do, so don't necessarily take that advice.
I could also like keep the leftovers of my 10 in like a drawer. And then if I feel
Mm,
like the 20 is going to be too much, I can switch back to that and then let my doctor know.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's going to be
You need
another
a
thing.
5 extended release.
Yeah, that's what I was originally supposed to do, was
Oh,
go to 15, but she put me to 20. So
well, let's let her rip, man.
yeah,
We're in a
we're gonna have
war,
to see.
so how are we
We're
supposed to
gonna
pay
have to
attention
see.
to stupid work when we're like literally in war? So,
Yeah, there's a a lot, a lot. So anyway, that's what's going on. We'll see.
yeah, well, thank you for telling me that. We had a bye week last week, so whenever we have a week off now, I'm like, holy shit, there's just I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, what was the last couple weeks? I have so much shit to take care of.
Yes.
Well, just like I have a stack of things where I'm like, okay, I have to do these things, this thing over here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think that's my plan today is I'm just gonna go line by line through all my little things. And that's how I'm gonna get, I think I'm gonna do that during my brain dump, and that's how I'm gonna understand what my next week is gonna be like. I'm also going to Rochester on
Oh.
Thursday, I think. What's today? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's our Janiversary. I just realized I've been with my person for 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long have
today.
you
I
been
just
married for?
realized. On March 25th, it'll be 11, no, 12, 10, 10. Yeah, 10. Final answer, 10. So
Final
March
answer.
25, it'll be 10 years married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats. How's that for you? Do you have any great insight for for your youth watching today?
Um, Not really, because so much of our relationship is chance. Like, there's
Mm.
a million ways that our relationship could have gone poorly if one or both of us were not willing to learn from mistakes and grow together. And you can't force someone to do that. Like, we've both changed so much as people over the years, and we've changed with each other. But there have been so many cases, especially like when you start young, like we did, that that does not end up the case. You end up two completely different people. One person does not want to change with the other, and it just goes terribly. So I don't really have advice because I feel like
I think that
it's
was
just,
the advice.
yeah,
You were like, we
like
wouldn't be like this if we didn't, what did you say? If you didn't, what did you say?
we like grew with each other and like changed together. Um, but like you both have to be in it. Like one person can't bear the load.
Right. What does that
And
look
like,
like though?
I
How do
mean,
you know
like
if you're doing that?
that's the hard part, right? That's what makes it chance is sometimes you don't know that you're doing that until you come out of it. And it just so happened that I was lucky enough when I came out of those periods of time where it was unbalanced that we were able to get through it and we were able to talk through it and work through it. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you stay in that space forever. And, or when you do finally come out of it, you've had enough. Maybe you've held it in for so long that you're not patient enough to work through it, or the other person is not patient enough
Mhm.
to listen and make those changes. Like maybe you guys have fights and the fights end it instead of you guys being able to work through the fights. Maybe the fights are toxic. Like it's also hard to tell the difference between toxicity and, just temporary struggles. And you can't know that until you get to the other end of it. So, like, as I get older in our relationship and I see more of our past, I'm just like, in the past, I used to freely just give out advice about like what worked for our relationship. And now I'm looking back in the past and I'm like, that advice cannot work for everyone. There are people that live by that same, like the same stuff that we did. I've seen do complete opposite things for other people. And so it's like, I feel less comfortable giving advice now in a long-term relationship like this
What do you
than
mean
I
the
did
complete
before.
opposite?
Well, like there are people that will be with a person and one of them at least will do everything that like I did. And I might give them the same advice that I did in a situation, but their other person is not my person. So their other person did not react the same way. So like, and I try not
Yeah,
to give,
but isn't the advice a principle? You know, like if someone is asking for advice, obviously they're not gonna it's not gonna be your exact same person. But like so what you said though, I could easily apply to like my situation.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be in whatever that context is. So it doesn't have to be, I'm trying to validate your previous advice,
Yeah,
because no, you at that time were correct for you. And
yeah,
like, it's not like you're a teacher getting paid to teach this. You're just saying, this was me. This was
yeah.
us.
The long and short
It's
of
a
it is
method.
both people have to be in it. And I think that's the end all be all is like any amount of advice that you can get and give, if both people are not on the same page, it's not going to work. I feel like that's the only thing. And there were times when we weren't on the same page, but we eventually got there. So I don't know. I guess if it's been a few years and you're still not on the same page, everything in
Yeah,
my
how
brain
long do
is
you
long
stay
term.
on the wrong page?
I don't know. That's a great question because there are people that, you know, are in relationships for just shorter periods of time in general.
Mm,
And it's hard for me to know because I never was really that person. Like
right.
even before him, it was I'd been in a relationship for a year and his longest relationship was a couple of months. So like
But you
it's
guys
just
were
so
like
hard to
really,
gauge
really
that.
young, right?
Yeah, we
So like
were.
I think that there's something there because if you add 20 years to that person's life and you dated for a year and like, someone older,
Yeah.
if, is that 20 years of someone who is only in shorter relationships?
Yeah. I mean, so I'm saying there's just so many
I think
different
that's the part that's like special to you is that you didn't go beyond a time when people have more experience with
Mhm.
relationships,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's another reason why I feel weird like giving advice is because for one, I have no idea what dating is like. That's a big thing. I don't know what fucking dating is like.
Yeah.
I skipped that like pretty much.
Hmm.
Because like in high school, for example, dating is not like dating now. Like you're with someone, but you don't actually like go on like dates in the same way. You aren't out in the world living your life and then you find someone at work or at a coffee shop and then you guys start going on dates and you talk about your grown-up experiences or whatever. Like you don't do that. You are a kid, you're a baby. You figure shit out together. You don't have shared
Yeah,
experience
right,
that's
right,
real. And that can go really well or it can go really bad because you don't know what you're doing.
right.
And I feel like
And like
as a
brains aren't even fully formed. So like,
they're
yeah,
literally not.
if it's not both going up like that, then yeah,
Yeah.
it can
Like that's
seems like
my
it could
big
be bad.
thing is I think that's the other reason that I feel so weird giving advice is because like falling in love at such a young age and then both being so dedicated to make it work in the long term and get through shit is like I feel like it's not very common. And even when I was in high school, I was a stubborn little butthead about it. I insisted that like I was right. I was totally in the right for getting engaged so young because like we got engaged our senior year. That's really fucking stupid. If I went back in time, even though I know current me knows it wound up really well and I'm really happy and I wouldn't, but if I were to go back in time and some other kid were doing that, I would be like, no, stop, wait. Stop it. This is you don't have to do this so early. You can wait, but it's just like I don't know. It's because there are also kids in that were from my high school that did get into it really young and maybe they had a kid really young or maybe they did get married young and I did not see good things happen with that relationship. And it's like everybody thought they were the most healthy and perfect relationship. They were going to be, together forever and ever and ever. No one could be more perfect than them, but they're babies. So obviously that's not going to be the case necessarily. Um, and so it's just, I don't know, it's weird because it feels like I recognize that it's so different and it's so weird what happened. But the common thread is
It
just
does
both of us
happen
being
too.
willing. It
Like
does.
there's both things that happen, right?
Yeah.
Um, and like it's I don't know. There's also like trusting your gut on a direction,
Mhm.
you know? Like my my gut direction was not that. It wasn't
Mhm.
even in my peripherals to choose that. And people were doing it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that some of those people are still a thing and some of them are not still a thing.
Yeah.
And it puts me in like a different population of people with different experiences because I didn't experience that. But like it is a total thing, right?
Yeah.
And then coming like inviting another direction into the one that you've been in for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the transition pain of that and then the balance aspect of it, right? So when you're not coming up with someone the whole time, like there's two people that are like having had a whole life experiences and then I mean it's not like you talk about your life experiences you do, but also what was learned along the way, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
like it really is there's so many fucking people that it's really difficult to like know quickly someone's values,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like you two grew your values together.
Yeah, that is very true. We uh we talk about sometimes what our values would be if we didn't wind up together and like have these shared experiences. He's pretty sure that he would have wound up a conspiracy nut. Um, which I could kind of see when we met. There were some fun talking points that I just kind of chalked up to weird stoner humor. But I could kind of see that, especially seeing his dad, which was another reason that like when I see his parents, my late father-in-law, um, they literally did they were us, but also so very different. Like they started out very similarly and they were together, they were married for 25 years. Three kids, but also his mother went through a lot with that relationship because even though they were best friends and they had so many memories and so many happy memories, there were also some really dark moments. And one of the last dark moments is we were down there for, and it led to a chain of events that ended very tragically. So I think that's part of why I'm so hesitant about like the the young romance thing because I've seen it work for us and seen it not work for them.
Like what
Even though
made that
everybody
what
was,
I mean, who says it didn't work? 25 years. It seems like it worked.
it did, but she was also suffering a lot behind the scenes for 25 years. And
Mm,
it was interspersed with not suffering, so it was less obvious. And from the outside, everybody's like, "Oh, they've been in love since high school. They're so perfect." When in reality, like they would have good times and then they would have, substance abuse, physical abuse times.
mm,
Um, and it's just one of those things where you never know because he is a good person overall in other aspects. But when substance is involved and it brings out the worst tendencies, and it's not a typical alcoholism that like my mother had.
it's different.
Um,
Yeah.
it's different. And when there's stubbornness so that you don't claim to be an alcoholic and it's like, you are functional. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's hard because like you still see like glimmers of their relationship and how beautiful it was starting out and how it grew over the years and their memories together and things they learned along the way. But you also see, the more I got to know her during some of this, the more I learned about just how much she was quietly struggling.
Yeah.
And it's just like sometimes you know someone, but you still, I don't know, this is kind of a dark topic, I guess, or it veered that way when I think about my parents-in-law. But either way,
But it's a
it
real
can,
thing. And like it also happens with people who have not gotten together young. You
yeah,
know, that's a I don't think that's related to working.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like it's a similar start, but like I don't know if I don't know if I would say that example is at a good um well, I don't want to put any judgment like good or bad, but like I think I'm having trouble connecting how it's an example of um a relationship working or not working. Like if somebody is struggling, um,
I think it's mostly my personal like association and discomfort with giving advice nowadays is because of the fact
mm,
that they would have been the ones giving advice. They gave us advice in
I
a lot
see,
of
I
our dark
see, yeah.
moments. So in my mind, it's like, well, like
Right.
we took advice from these people and it you know, I don't know, it depends, I guess.
Well, did it
But
help?
also it depends on the situation. Sometimes it did, but also sometimes it didn't.
Did you like have to know when to use the advice and when not? Be like, okay, this is not a good nugget from them.
Yeah, because like there's amount of patience that's preached in some cases, and then there's sometimes also intolerance that's preached other times. And it's like sometimes it's like you just need to be patient with your significant other, which is true, but also that winds up forgiving things that are not so okay. Or other
Mhm.
times, they would be like, oh no, this is unacceptable, which is true sometimes. But then other times it would be like, but see, then what you're saying is unacceptable. We just had a conversation about, and we are fine. Like, we don't have
Yeah.
the same values that you do on everything. And these
Mhm.
are things that we had to learn over time as well. Um, so I don't know, it's just weird. And they also are conservative too, so like just diametrically we have different values on things
Mhm.
and what is important for relationships. Obviously I can't speak for all of her views on relationships now because she's obviously out of that now. I mean, that's not obvious to you. He passed away
Mhm.
a few years ago. I don't think I said that, but
I assume because you said your late father-in-law.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so anyway, thing is it can go well though. So it just
Yeah.
depends on growing and reflecting and literally just both parties being willing to move past it. Don't get stubborn. Don't get stuck in your
Yeah.
ways
And when
because
there's like neglect or abuse involved, like the rules don't apply to that relationship anymore.
mm,
No advice about the inside of the relationship is really going to be valuable if there's neglect and abuse going on,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Because that's a whole different thing. That's different. And you know, unless the advice is to, giving resources on how to get help from that, you know,
that's true.
or
That is a very specific issue that does require very specific attention and
yeah, because
information.
women don't, not just women, people don't usually talk about it or admit
Mm-hmm.
it in like for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, becoming aware of a situation like that, for me, I'm like, okay, this is a person that I might want to check in on sometimes. If I
Mm-hmm.
have capacity on any particular time and they pop into my mind, I'm going to ask them how they are doing, get an update,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
because also being in contact with a person that's not in the situation can be considered safe because they're not going to give advice or, um, you know, judge.
right. They don't know you or the person
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So if it is that situation, the advice, um, yeah, if that element is involved, I think advice would probably not be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Like it might be for the person experiencing abuse only because like um it gets them out of a mind frame, in a
Mm-hmm.
different perspective or whatever. But ultimately, if a person is experiencing abuse, they're probably not able to think logically about much,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's like an inside a relationship problem, like communication or whatever.
Yeah.
logistics. Like the problem is not communication at this point. It is this issue.
Yeah. Which so much of ours too. So much of my advice often ties to communication,
Yeah.
which is another cliche that's a cliche for a reason
But it's
because
real, man.
how many relationships have died from stupid nonsense like that?
Yeah.
Like communication errors are no joke.
Yep, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
now that we've gone off on that little side quest,
Good
we
to see
can
you.
good to see you. So this is let me share my screen. I'll go back to the front page here. Mhm. There we go. And now I'll share my screen. Mhm. All right. So this is our Sunday service ADHD planning meeting. So I don't know why it's not
Ooh.
pausing when I tell it to pause. There we go. Um, so we're a Sunday morning. Sorry, my sinus headache is really getting in the way of my brain.
We're an ADHD
Um,
planning meeting. We meet
thank
every
you.
Sunday, almost every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And sometimes we get on early and chat.
Thank you. Um, we usually will spend like 30 to 60 minutes of just like talking, unwinding as we did today. We'd like to talk about how our week was and what we learned last week, which I pretty much dominated this one with all of my revelations. We like
There's
to
a
focus
sermon
on,
today. True Sunday
yeah,
service.
seriously.
Mhm.
We focus on structure and accountability. So we want to show up for ourselves, which means practicing time management, self-care, and giving ourselves grace, like we talked about earlier, making realistic plans, defining what on time means for the day, delegating when it's needed, and building rest and joy into our days. So some tips for a successful meeting. We want to honor the moment and set the tone. Um, so this is about ritual. Um, we want to be present. We want to be curious, grounded, and try to stay inspired. We'll want to curate our vibe. So that could be like a fan, a heater, fidgets, lighting, whatever helps you stay focused. You want to handle the basics like snacks and stretching, waters and whatnot. Grab the tools like pens, notebooks. You'll want a calendar, digital or physical. And then you want to use your resources. We have a Notion template that you can duplicate to your account and fill out, or you can use and just follow along on a notebook. And then we also have our visuals, which we will use for our 4 sections. So our 4 sections, we do a 20-minute brain dump, which is where we just let everything go out on the paper. We do reflective questions about the week. Then we do a top 20 where we pull out the most important things. And then we finish by adding everything to our calendar and accounting for weather and things like that. So we will start with our brain dump, which basically is where we just take everything taking up space in our brain and we just pour it out into the template or the paper. No right or wrong way to do it. Could be a list or a block of text or both. Um, and then later on, we're going to come back and siphon it a little bit more. So just make a mess. We'll take 20 minutes for that, and then we'll come back for reflective questions.
Great. Thank you.
All right, that is time. How'd we do?
Pretty good. I got up and got some toast at some point, but I realized that I have to plan around leaving on Thursday,
Mm,
which is fun.
okay.
What about
Is that
you?
going to be what you focus on?
Yeah, I think so. What about you?
I think I'm gonna focus on what I need to do in preparation for our trip next month. I remembered that we didn't have our costumes together for one of the days of the music festival.
Hmm.
Um, because we wanted to dress up as these characters from the music video storyline. So so I started looking at options that I need to list out for like costume ideas. So I'm probably gonna incorporate financing for what we can afford between now and then and other stuff that I want to prep since I'm in that traveling bug mode.
Yeah, I have finance and budgeting stuff to do also. I'm gonna do that on my train ride.
Nice. Hmm. Ugh. Alrighty. Well, our next part is reflective questions. So we've got 10 minutes for that. We're basically just going to ask ourselves questions about how the week was, how we performed in our roles, what we need to follow up on, what we could have done better. We don't want to shame ourselves. We just kind of want to work on the memory exercise of it and use it to transition from past mode to future mode with our next step. So we'll take 10 minutes and come right back.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hi. Hold on 1 second. Eh, my pant leg got caught in my chair wheel. There
Ooh,
we go. Okay.
how'd you do?
Not bad. I finished early since I did most of my reflections earlier and ran to the bathroom. How about you?
Yeah, I didn't really reflect. I really don't have any energy to reflect on the past week or two. So I just continued my brain dump and I had some other things come through. Um, I reorganized my Notion again so that it applies to my current life, which is nice because I've been using it on my phone a lot so that I can I have an easy, I made it easy to go in and do minimal clicks to get to a space where I need to write things. So that's
Mm,
nice.
very, very nice.
I changed my Sunday service around so that my top 20 is on my dashboard all the time. I'm
Very
always
nice.
messing with how that is.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good to keep stuff updated and edited as you go because we're constantly figuring out through trial and error what works better, what doesn't. And sometimes stuff works better than other times.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff will work for a few weeks and it'll be perfect, and then it just stops working and we have to
Hmm.
refresh it. Like that's happened a million times in this process.
Yes, absolutely. Did I tell you I thrifted this little game?
No.
It's called Table Topics, and it's just a card. It's just like a bunch of cards with things. So this one says, "What do you love about your hometown?" And it just is a conversation sparker.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
cute.
I've enjoyed having this in my life. I thought I would share.
Yeah, no, that's the perfect kind of thing to get at a thrift store because then,
2015. Also, look
huh?
at this little cube. I said 2015 is when it was made.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like $20.15. I'm like, at a thrift
Oh,
shop?
no, you're like, that's very specific.
Yeah, no, that's very cute. I love that.
That's my show
Oh,
and tell.
great. I love that. Perfect. I don't have any show and tell near me, but that's okay. So we will move on now to our top 20. So basically, we're going to look at our brain dump and reflective questions. Except for Michelle, because she need to reflect. She will just look at her brain dump, which has double the stuff on it right now.
Mhm.
And we'll pull out roughly 20 things that are the most important. Doesn't have to be exactly 20 things, but mostly we want to focus on prioritizing and pulling things out so it's not so overwhelming going into the next week. And we'll take 15 minutes to list those things out, and then we'll start adding them to the calendar in the next section.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's time.
Okay. How are you doing?
I got to my 20 pretty fast. Got lots of stuff that we need to do around the house, but I am feeling okay about it being manageable this week. How about you?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have like a lot that I want to do. I'm like, backlogged on shit.
Hmm.
But feeling pretty confident since I have so much time on a train. I can do a
Mm,
lot of this stuff.
yeah,
Um, and I feel pretty organized, so that's good.
very nice. Alrighty. Well then, with the organization note, let's move on to the last section, which is adding things from our top 20 to our calendar. We want to make sure that we also, while we're adding those things to our calendar, account for things like weather and domestics like chores, pet care, um, non-committal time, breaks, meal prep, whatever we need to account for in time blocks. And we will take 10 minutes for that, and then we'll come back and wrap up for the day.
Okay, thanks.
Alrighty. There we are.
Okay, we did it. I actually did my top 20 throughout my whole entire process, so I didn't actually like use each time block for what it was for.
Oh, nice.
Well, I used my top 20 to do my packing list. I started that,
Right, right.
but it was still very effective. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. I mean, you still did the things that you needed to do, and you still had body doubling. Those are the most important things.
Yeah.
Intentional planning. Ugh.
Absolutely. Thank you
It is
for
gonna be
hosting.
so cold, dude.
I know.
Like,
It's really cold now.
it's,
What is it there?
yeah. Um, Shoot, I looked at next week and
14
it
here.
right now it is 12, with the wind of
Wow.
12 miles per hour. But it's gonna
Four-
get down to -4 this week.
It is 14 degrees in Texas, where my brother lives also.
It is so crazy.
Yeah.
My mother actually down south got snow before we did up here, and it is the most ridiculous snow. It is so powdery and
Mm,
lame. Like, I don't know, I guess if you're in Colorado and you want to go skiing or whatever, maybe that's good, but it's not fun snow. You can't do anything with it. You can't make a snowball or a mini snowman or anything.
yeah.
And it doesn't crunch satisfyingly when you step
Mhm.
in it. It doesn't sound like fresh
It's
sand
like
on Navarre
fake.
Beach.
It's like fake
Yeah,
snow.
literally, it's like fake snow. Like we get all this beautiful white snow and it's powder,
Yeah.
but
Boo.
whatever. At least we get something though. We can't complain. And some people still had their Christmas lights up, which I really appreciate
Mm.
because for one, no one should tell you to take your Christmas lights before you're ready.
Hmm.
But also because we obviously didn't have snow for Christmas, so nobody got to see their Christmas lights with snow. And because they did, I was able to see the very few people that did have their Christmas lights up. I was able to see them with like the snowy surroundings is very cute. We were lucky to have like one person in our neighborhood had it, and we happened to see them on our dangerous route around the corner to get the pizza.
Mm.
Um,
Dangerous route.
so yeah, I mean, it really wasn't. But he did almost give me a heart attack because he was like drifting. I'm like, you're gonna hydroplane in the snow.
Oh man. Yeah, driving with other people. I have like nightmares from having people drive in the snow and like they nothing happened,
Hmm.
but just the way that they do it,
Hmm.
I'm like,
Especially as like a nervous person. Like,
yeah,
and
don't be
like,
going wild like this with me
yeah,
in the
when you grow up
car.
around unstable people, like little things will freak us
Yeah.
out. It's
Yes.
crazy.
I know.
Anyway, at least we have pretty scenery to see out the window. I'm sorry that you have to travel in this nonsense, but hopefully it'll be a little bit better by then.
I think it's gonna stop snowing tomorrow. Well, it's
Mm.
icy here. Mom Donnie he like did a whole thing about this will happen and at this time it will turn into sleet.
All right.
He did this whole thing about predicting the weather, which was really funny because most of us here in New York City are like, yeah, we'll see if it comes because there's always some threat of some weather storm and then nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Missouri knows better than to predict too hard and bank on it because like the prediction of snow alone changed like several times between the initial of like, hey, everybody freak out, there's big winter storm coming to be like, it's not really going to be that bad to like, oh no, we're not bringing you any deliveries from Walmart for like a week and a half. To honestly, everybody's overreacting. It's not going to be Snowmageddon. To everything is closed. That's it. All
Yeah,
closed. Nothing.
goes
So
back and
like
forth here.
nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Really good.
Anyway, I will see you, I think, next weekend. I don't think we have another bye next
Yeah.
weekend.
Should we look at that? Let's see.
Yeah, I believe mine, because I am going out of state next
February
weekend.
22nd will be off.
Hmm.
You're going out of state
Yes.
next weekend?
No, next month.
Oh,
If I said weekend, I meant month.
okay. Yeah.
Um, so
So February
yeah.
22nd, we're off. March, I would vote for the 29th.
Okay.
Also, March has 5 weeks in it. So We could take 2 bi-weeks if we wanted to.
Okay, if we do that, I would request the 8th because my mother's birthday is the 7th and I'm gonna take a bus down to Arkansas.
Okay. Let's do the 8th and the 29th. I'll take those out of my calendar.
Sounds good. I have like 2 Sunday service in my calendar for every day, and I don't know which one to get rid of.
I just went through that and I finally officially figured it out. It was because I had it under clearstart.org email and under another email.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have one from your Stoner Queer email and one from clearstart.org.
Hmm.
So you could probably turn off your um Stoner Queer calendar events. Because if we do anything, we're probably going to do it under queerstart.org.
For me, they're both tied to Scarlett at Stoner Queer. So that's
But the
interesting.
invite comes from, do you have the queerstart.org email on your, where do you look on your phone?
Yeah.
Do you have that email on your phone?
Yeah, hold on. I guess
Email
we can
help.
we can probably stop streaming if we haven't already.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let me do
Huh?
that.
Okay, bye week on the
Bye.
22nd of February, the 8th, and of March.